Okay, let's start. So, Abraham, what parsha was it this week? Tezaveh is right. Very good. So, it says in the Shalah, the Torah talks about the spiritual, the higher worlds, and it hints to the physical world. In other words, we think the Torah is talking about something physical and it's hinting to something spiritual. But the Shalah says the opposite. He says the Torah is really talking about something spiritual and it's hinting to something physical. It's a Torah medaberes b'elyonim u'meramezes b'tachtenim. Torah talking about the spiritual and it's hinting to the physical. So this first verse in the sixth Torah portion, in addition to its simple meaning, has a spiritual meaning. And really, we shouldn't say in addition to its simple meaning. We should say, really, the correct way of saying it is, in addition to its spiritual meaning, it has a physical meaning, because the Torah is, first of all, medaberes b'elyonim, speaks about the spiritual. As it says in Tanya, the Torah is a chem de genuza, it's a precious gift of Hashem, which nasa v'yarda, which traveled to this world. But really, its first place is not this world. Its first place is it's coming from the wisdom of Hashem, from the world of Atzilus. So its first meaning is actually spiritual. So considering that, let's look at this Torah portion, the first verse, and let's see what this means. So the first verse of this week's Torah portion reads like this. Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, you should command the Jewish people, they should bring you pure olive oil. It should be crushed to give light, to be a source of light. Lahalis neratamin, that there should be a constant flame. So this verse has a couple of obvious questions. Let's focus on one of them. This week's Torah portion is talking about the mitzvah of lighting the menorah, and the purpose of getting the oil is to light the menorah. So the question is, why should they bring the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu when the one who lights the menorah is really Aaron? Aaron lights the menorah. So why would they bring the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu? So let's look at the characteristics of oil to understand the meaning of this. Hold on a second. Okay. Oil has three characteristics that the Talmud talks about. One is, if you mix oil with something, so the oil will permeate the substance that you mixed it with. Oil was mefafea b'chol davar. It not just does it touch whatever it comes in contact with, doesn't make it moist, but it permeates it. It goes through everything that it touches. It's choder. It
absorbed.
Absorbed, right. It gets deeply absorbed in everything that it touches. Thank you. Another characteristic of oil is that einim misarv mashara mashkin. Oil is not getting mixed with other liquids. When you put oil in a cup with other liquids, doesn't intermingle with other liquid. Oil stays apart. And the third characteristic of oil is not only doesn't get mixed with other liquids, but also the oil always stays on top. Whenever you put oil with other liquids together, oil stays on top of the other liquids. So what's the spiritual meaning of this? The Torah is giving us an instruction about how we relate to other people. There's an expression in Yiddish, it's tzaddik in a fur coat. Tzaddik in a fur coat means somebody who says, doesn't matter what's happening to other people. I could put the heat on in this home, but the home is too small for me. I'm more about giving light and warmth to the world. So let me just put on my fur coat and forget about the house. So a Jew may think it's sufficient for him to be like the tzaddik in a fur coat. So Torah tells us, learn from the oil. Learn from the oil and get involved. Get involved with another person. Don't just have your own Yiddishkeit, your own Judaism, your own excellence and performance of Torah. You have to get involved in other Jews' life also. You have to permeate another person's life as well. You cannot be satisfied with doing things yourself. Don't be the tzaddik in the fur coat. And then the Torah says something else. Okay, you're getting involved in another person's life. But you might think, okay, I'm getting involved in other person's life. That's going to take away something from myself. And by me considering another person where they are and thinking about who they are and connecting with them, in a very deep way, in a way that's going to affect their life, that may cause me to lose something of myself. So Torah says you're making a mistake. Oil is not going to mixed with other liquids. When you reach out to someone else, you're not going to compromise. You're not automatically going to compromise where you are spiritually. There is a certain blessing that Hashem gives to those who take upon this mission of helping His children. It says in the Talmud, "Shluchei shel Am Kamoiseh." The emissary of someone is like themselves. Your emissary is considered like you. So in similar way, it says in Torah Or, if a person takes upon himself the mission of Hashem, the Adam Elyon, and you want to go on the mission of Hashem, so you're like Hashem himself. You're like the King of all kings. And therefore, there's nothing that stands in your way. And that's why there's a third characteristic of oil. Not only does it not mix with other liquids, not only does it not get affected, but on the contrary, the oil rises to the top. The oil ascends because you're taking on this mission for Hashem. Not only you're not losing, on the contrary, your oil actually rises to the top. There is a very important thing that has to be mentioned about this effort to reach out to other Jews. The Torah says, be like the students of Aaron, love creatures, and bring them close to Torah. So the Chassidus emphasizes your goal is not to bring the Torah close to them, it's to bring them close to Torah. The way to reach out to another person is not by compromising your own spirituality and giving them some watered down version of the Torah, but when you water it down, you're actually making it less attractive. People think that the way to make Torah attractive to other people is by watering it down. Makes it less attractive. You know why? Because youth are idealistic. So they want something which is strong, which is powerful, which is real. So actually by saying that this can be compromised, what you're really saying is that it's not true. And therefore it could be changed around. Therefore the Torah tells us, no, don't bring the Torah close to people, bring the people close to the Torah. The previous Rebbe was once asked, wouldn't it be good to give Jews anything at all just to revive them? What's it matter with giving people unclean water? If you need to revive someone, there's a fire burning. They told the previous Rebbe, there's a fire burning, so give them any water to put out the fire. There's a fire burning. There's a lot of assimilation going on. There's so much intermarriage. Use anything. So previous Rebbe responded, that's correct if you're using water. What if instead of using your water, you're using gasoline? Gasoline will put out a fire. In similar way, the previous Rebbe was saying that don't think that by changing the Torah, you're going to actually cause a lasting effect and really lift up people. It's the opposite. You got to realize that oil does not mix with other liquids, and keep the pristine, pure Torah and share that to another Jew and light them up. And how long should you light them up for? What are you trying to do exactly? The Torah continues and says, you want to have the oil. How do you want to get the oil? Kostas lamori. You need it to be crushed. What's it being crushed? Okay, so you don't want to compromise the Torah, but you do want to give someone an authentic message. You do want to give them the reality, the truth. In order to give someone the truth, you have to speak with humility. If you're speaking to another person and talking down to them, it's not going to be receptive. So the key to connect with someone else and to reach their soul is specifically by, as the Torah says, let my soul be like dust before all. It's by your humility, which will allow you to see the good in another person. Will see beneath the surface. Your humility will allow you to see the good in them. And your humility will allow you to speak honestly and sincerely and authentically in a way that will reach them. So that's what the Torah says, be crushed to give light. What kind of light do you want? You want lamor. You want not just light, but lamor means a source of light. That you're going to talk to another Jew in a way that will not just illuminate them. It says in the Torah, the candle of God is the soul of man. And the Torah is compared also to a candle. It says in the Torah, Ner mitzvah Torah ora. Mitzvah is called a candle, Torah is called light. So you want to illuminate, you want to kindle the other person's soul, you want to light them up. Well, what kind of way do you want to light them up? The Torah continues and says, Lahal is ner tamid. There should be a constant flame. What does it mean there should be a constant flame? What does that mean spiritually? So Rashi says, you want that the flame should continue when you're not there. Your goal in reaching out to someone else is not that they should consistently need your involvement and your influence, and you should always be the teacher, they should always be the student. The goal is that you should raise up the student, they should stand on their own, and they should inspire others. As the Talmud talks about the meaning of moisture, Talmud says, what's the definition of moisture? Moisture is something that's so wet, it'll make something else wet. So your role is that the person should be able to stand on their own 2 feet. They shouldn't need you anymore. And they should be inspired so much they want to share it with someone else. And how do you achieve all this? The Torah says, bring the oil to Moshe Rabbeinu. What's unique about Moshe Rabbeinu? There are some people that you think that it's impossible to give them any light. You think that they're not ready to be kindled. Looking at things from the perspective of Aaron, you'd say, well, you need to kindle up other Jews. Yes, but kindle up Jews which are ready to receive light. But someone that you know is not ready, is not open, they're not prone to be so receptive to a message of inspiration. You might think that, okay, this one's not going to work. This one's not going to let go of this. As a friend of mine who I used to visit in prison used to say, whenever we would say that before we begin to pray, we say the words, I accept upon myself the mitzvah to love my fellow like myself, right? This guy had a different version of this prayer. He would say, I accept upon myself the mitzvah to love most of my fellows like myself. He had a hard time in prison, and he wasn't going to be dishonest with me. He wasn't going to be loving to everyone. And there's a similar phenomena that we all may have when we talk about bringing people close. We say, well, this person's just not going to work. And it's not something that Rebbe Marash once said, the Chassidically challenged people are called sad people. They look at things in a negative way. You might think if you're a card-carrying chassid, you don't have this issue. This is an issue we all have because it's not something that a human being could see. There's people that you can looking at them with eyes of flesh. You don't see it's possible to reach them. So the Torah tells us to learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah says, bring the oil to Moshe. Now, this Torah portion is the only Torah portion since Moshe's birth that doesn't have his name. Why doesn't it have his name? There's a simple reason, there's a deeper reason. The simple reason it doesn't have his name is because Moshe Rabbeinu said to Hashem, forgive the Jewish people for their sin of the golden calf. If you will not forgive the Jewish people for the sin of the golden calf, erase my name from your book. I don't want to have anything to do with your Torah. So Hashem listened to Moshe Rabbeinu. He forgave the Jewish people. But whenever a tzaddik says something, it has an effect. And even though Hashem listened to Moshe, and Moshe made a condition, he says, I want to be erased from your book only if you won't forgive the Jewish people. If you forgive them, then great, we could do business. Nevertheless, when the tzaddik says something, it has an effect. And therefore, there was one Torah portion where Moshe's name is not mentioned. So on the surface, it sounds like a negative thing. There's something missing from Moshe Rabbeinu. His name is not mentioned. But Chassidus says it's exactly the opposite. It's not that his name is not mentioned. And it's not that this Torah portion falls out at the time when he passes away, the 7th of Adar, because Moshe's light is somehow diminished, somehow it's extinguished in this time period. It's the opposite. In this time period, in the 7th of Adar, as we were learning last week, there's a revelation of the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu, who's beyond the name of Moshe Rabbeinu. And this is expressed by Moshe telling Hashem, erase me from your book. Why does he say to erase me from your book? Where's it coming from? So it's coming from the very essence of Moshe Rabbeinu. The very essence of Moshe Rabbeinu is connected to the essence of every single Jew. And because the essence of Moshe is connected to every essence of every Jew, therefore Moshe doesn't let go of a Jew. Moshe doesn't say, oh, this Jew is able to receive the message of Torah. This Jew is not able to receive the message of Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu, because of his very essence, which is one of the essence of Hashem, is able to reach out and able to believe and able to connect with every single Jew without exception. This is not only true for Moshe Rabbeinu. Every Jew has in them a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu. As we were learning last week, the Talmud says about a certain thing that it's easier for Moshe to do. The reason the Torah describes reverence for Hashem as being easy because it's easier for Moshe. And the Talmud asks, and the Alter asks in Tanya, being easier for Moshe doesn't answer the question that the Torah is addressing every Jew and saying every Jew has to have reverence for Hashem. And then the Torah phrases it as if it's such a simple thing, a lackadaisical thing. What does Hashem ask you to do? Just have reverence for Him. Why does it sound so? Why is the Torah making it sound so small? And the Talmud's answer, oh, it's easy for Moshe. But the Alter Rebbe says the Torah is talking to everyone. Why is the Torah saying that it's small for everyone? And the answer is, the Alter Rebbe says that every Jew has a spark of Moshe in them. Because every Jew has a spark of Moshe in them, therefore we're able to connect with every Jew. As we see in the Moshe Rabbeinu connected with every single Jew, even those who violated a cardinal principle of the Torah and they brought the golden calf. This didn't stop him from saying to Hashem, I want you to save them, and it's so important to me that you save these Jews, the lowest of all, that if you don't save them, I don't want to be in your book. And by doing this, Moshe expressed the essence of who he was. And that's why his name isn't mentioned, because it's beyond just the name of Moshe. It's the essence of Moshe. And this is what the Torah instructs us to do as well. The we need to, the word Tezaveh means to connect. Moshe Rabbeinu is able to bring unity to all the Jewish people. He's able to reveal all the Jewish people their common denominator, their connection with all others. He's able to bring out within them their goodness and their holiness and their connection with every other Jew. He's able to reveal that spark in everyone. So in order to be able to be the oil, what does the oil mean again? Oil, it has three characteristics. It permeates everything. It means spiritually for ourselves, we need to reach out to others. And number two, oil doesn't get mixed with other liquids. We don't have to compromise our values in our efforts to help others. Number three, not only do we not lose anything by reaching out to others, but oil rises above all liquids, which spiritually represents that in the effort of doing the mission of Hashem, reaching out to another Jew, not only you're not losing anything, on the contrary, you're ascending. And how do you achieve this? And how do you cause the light to shine another Jew, Lamoyer, the essence of their soul to be revealed in a way of Tamin, in a way that's consistent, and they don't need your effort anymore to be there, and they could stand on their own. It's through Moshe, it's through the Moses, which is within you, reaching out to the Moses in the other Jew and revealing their godliness that they have already without you. You're just revealing that within them by reaching out from the best, which is in yourself. As Rebbe told Rabbi Dubrovsky from Texas, I shared this with you. He brought someone to the Rebbe who was a diamond miner. And he told the Rebbe, it's something unusual in my profession, something weird. He says, I mine for diamonds. On the tip of the drill, what's on the tip of the drill? A diamond. So the Rebbe said, I have a similar phenomenon in my profession. I ask my Chassidim to reach out to other Jews. I hope they use their diamond to find the diamonds in others. So that's the message of this verse. There's another point that we see in this verse as well, from another angle. The oil comes from an olive. Olives don't represent the greatest of things according to the Torah. It says in the Torah portion about the flood, the Torah portion of Noach, that when the dove came back with the olive branch, the dove said, the Talmud explained the dove's message with the olive branch, I'd rather have the food coming from Hashem, even if it's bitter, like the bitterness of an olive. So olives represent bitterness. Further, the Talmud says that eating an olive can cause you to forget your Torah study for 70 years. You eat an olive. And you forget the whole thing. So the question is, what do you do about that? Is olive a negative thing? Is it about forgetting the whole Torah? Is it about bitterness? Is it about, so on the one hand, yes, olives represent darkness and bitterness, and they represent the opposite of holiness. Forgetfulness is not something that comes from the side of holiness. As everyone once remarked, that psychologists have discovered in the last century the idea of a mental block. We forget things. But actually it says in Tanya that there's no forgetfulness before the throne of your glory. So too, the reason why we forget things, says the Alter Rebbe, is because our animal soul doesn't enjoy to have certain things in its memory, therefore it causes us naturally to forget them. So forgetfulness and bitterness are associated with the darkness of the animal soul, of Klippa, the opposite of holiness. So the Torah is saying that you have to take the olive, which represents bitterness, and transform that to light, which spiritually means the idea of iskafia, the idea of subduing the urges to do the wrong thing and to motivate yourself to do the right thing, even though you don't want to. In that effort of transforming the darkness to light, that causes a greater light. As the Talmud says, anyone who sees a olive oil in their dream will merit to have the luminary of Torah. So by having the crushing the olive, representing humility, and also crushing the olive represents the idea of subduing the urges to do the wrong thing. This brings us to the blessing to have the luminary of Torah. Luminary of Torah refers to the inner dimension of Torah, which is in the teachings of Chassidus, that in the merit of pushing ourselves aside for the sake of doing what Hashem wants. As one Jew was in the audience with the Rebbe, and he asked the Rebbe, "What's the first step in serving Hashem?" He said, "The first step of serving Hashem is not doing what you want to do and doing what you don't want to do. Step number one." So he asked the Rebbe, "Is that for everybody?" He said, "That's for every Jew. That's the olive oil. The olive oil to transform the bitterness, to transform the things in our life which are pulling us away. This allows us to really connect with the teachings of Hasidus, which are also a catalyst to bring Mashiach. As Mashiach told the Baal Shem Tov, when will I come? I'll come when your wellsprings will spread to the outside." So, I hope that we should take the inspiration from the Torah portion, learn from the oil and from the menorah, and to reach out to others. And we should merit to immediately see kindling the menorah, Aaron HaKohen, Bais Hamikdash, L'chaim, L'chaim, L'rev. Any questions or comments? Reb Zeb, Reb Beryl, Chaim Peretz, Avremel, David. All right.